Django Fett on the job.
Hey guys, I'm Django Fett, hunting down games, comics, TV shows, movies, and more. And to get ready for my most highly anticipated movie of 2014, The Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies, I am doing reviews for the previous two Hobbit movies. As a huge fan of the Lord of the Rings franchise, the Lord of the Rings being my favorite movie trilogy of all time, yeah, I said it. And no, you're not taking my Star Wars card away from me. Anyway, I'm doing a review for The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, the first film, which came out in December 2012, and directed by Peter Jackson, who I'm a big fan of. I love Peter Jackson. He's just one of the best directors out there. And he also directed the beloved Lord of the Rings series as well. And if you didn't know already, the Hobbit trilogy is the prequel trilogy to the Lord of the Rings, approximately 60 years before the events of the Lord of the Rings. So The Hobbit tells the journey of Bilbo Baggins, who is convinced by Gandalf the Grey to accompany 13 dwarves, led by Thorin Oakenshield, on a quest to reclaim the Lonely Mountain from the dreaded dragon Smaug. And that's the story for the films. So, now I got that out of the way, let's start with the pros of The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. Now, the first pro I want to mention for this film, for the start of this film, is the fact that the viewers and, beloved Lord of the Rings fans of the movies are back in Middle-earth again. The beautiful New Zealand shots to newer locations that Lord of the Rings fans haven't seen yet. And I loved how they started off in the Shire, just like they did in the Fellowship of the Ring movie. And hearing the beautiful, enchanting Shire theme too. There's no better way to start a movie than starting off in the Shire. And the first half an hour of the film is set in the Shire, which I love. Next, the characters. Martin Freeman as Bilbo Baggins was excellent. I actually think that Martin Freeman as Bilbo Baggins was better than the Lord of the Rings version, being Ian Holm as Bilbo Baggins. I thought Martin Freeman really captured the essence of Bilbo. Just an excellent Bilbo. Fantastic job. Ian McKellen as Gandalf the Grey was also great in this film. And he owned in this movie, much like he did in Fellowship of the Ring. He kicked major ass. And you remember how he threw it down against the Balrog? Man, he took down everybody in this film. He was awesome. He's just the Middle-earth OG. I mean, seriously. Gandalf is one of the greatest characters of all time. Period. Richard Armitage as Thorin Oakenshield. He was the dwarf leader, but he reminded me much like Aragorn in the Lord of the Rings films. He was a strong leader, but a jerk to Bilbo at the same time. He had his moments and his fails too. But he was alright in the film. There were also many cameo appearances from other characters in the previous Lord of the Rings films as well, which I really liked. I love the fact how the film starts off with the dwarves and just being driven off from their homeland. And that just makes you feel for them and feel for their cause. Then focusing on Bilbo at the Shire. There were also many cool, memorable scenes in this movie. Like the trolls, a special appearance with Gollum, the Riddles in the Dark sequence, that's what it's called. Just excellent scene with that. And a new changed up scene with the goblins and the dwarves, which was changed up. But I love that. That was my favorite scene in the movie. That scene right there was fast-paced, and I loved it. I thought it was great. Also, I did watch the extended edition, and it had some really cool additional scenes. It showed how the dwarves at Erebor before Smaug arrived. That was pretty cool. The hobbits at the Shire, and a really cool scene with the Goblin King, and him singing a song and talking with the dwarves. And I felt like the rest of the extended edition, the new scenes, didn't even need to be in there at all. Now let's talk about the cons of The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. First off, the movie's pacing was extremely slow, and the transitions also weren't good either. And the movie was way too long, and had so many bloated, meaningless scenes that should have been in the extended version. At least 15-20 minutes of the movie could have been cut out and put in the extended edition. But unfortunately it wasn't, it was put in the theatrical version. Also, it doesn't help that the rest of the dwarf characters, other than Thorin and Balin, were forgettable. absolutely forgettable. And nowhere near as great as the Fellowship of the Ring crew. It's not even close. It's not even close. Name me another dwarf character other than Balin and Thorin that you know in the Hobbit movies. Name me one. You can't. You really can't. I can name everyone from Fellowship off the top of my head. Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Frodo, Sam, Merry, Pippin. They're all great. I love all those guys. I know all these guys off the top of my head. I don't even have to read my notes for this, okay? I don't know any of the dwarf characters. It's not even close of a comparison between these two groups. Whoever says that these dwarf characters are better than the Fellowship of the Ring group, I will lose all respect for that person. Also, Radagast is another character that came up that was bad in this movie. He was bad, but he's not on the level of Jar Jar Binks bad and ruining the entire fucking movie. I did like the fact that the movie taught us that you eat mushrooms, you become Radagast, which you don't want to be, kids. Or if you smoke weed, become a badass like Gandalf. Sounds like a great fucking lesson right there. Smoke more Toby, kids. I loved how they put that in the movie. That was just they just put that message out there. I love that. There's also controversy with the high frame rate when it came out in theaters. I didn't get the decision behind it. I think Peter Jackson was the one who did this. Dumb idea. I was fortunate enough not to watch it or decide to watch it in high frame rate. It just looks stupid. I don't know why Peter Jackson promoted it. It backfired. It never happened again with the second movie. Another thing, the soundtrack. Now, Lord of the Rings movies are known for their fantastic soundtrack. The Hobbit 1, however, is one of the laziest soundtracks I've ever heard. I liked the dwarf theme song that was played in this movie, but I felt it was used over and over and over again throughout the entire fucking movie. We get it after the first 2 times. Don't shove this thing down our faces about the dwarf themes. Just stop it. Why did you use the same Lord of the Rings songs, the same exact Lord of the Rings songs into this movie? That's lazy right there. You didn't even try creating a unique soundtrack or new songs. Nothing. They were just not creative or good in the soundtrack. That's just surprising from Howard Shore, who is the composer of the Lord of the Rings movies and this movie. So finally, my rating for this movie, and I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. This is definitely one of the most disappointing Peter Jackson films he's made. But it's still a good movie at the same time. It's not on the level of Lord of the Rings, and you really can't compare Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. I mean, you can make comparisons, but Lord of the Rings is just up and above for The Hobbit or any other movies out. I mean, there's no comparison. I honestly thought this was a disappointing movie. Second movie, however, is a different thing altogether. This movie was long and tedious, and the ending was just an absolute fail. All I say is Thorin, man. Thorin. Oh god. I will stop it right here. Don't forget to please like and comment this video, guys, and please subscribe to my channel, Django Fett, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.